Hello, dear friends, how are you? The life of everybody is unique. Some of the people are comfortable enough having the comforts and the luxuries in their life, and little or no hurdle at all, while another some of the people, their life is full of challenges, difficulties, troubles, and hurdles. These people are the adversity stricken people. Now, those people who are afflicted with the adversity of one type or the other, these people are highly vulnerable, and there are chances for their good life, chances for their success and happiness. But for that, it is desperately and direly needed that these people should adopt specific strategies and a temperament and a mindset, because they need to take care. They need to take care a lot. They cannot afford the irresponsible attitude and behavior at all. They do have to act like a very responsible and a careful person, and they need to take everything else in somewhat serious manner. They need to understand and learn what strategy can take them to the better life, what strategy can somehow help them navigate their life, the life which is full of difficulties, full of challenges, and full of adversities. So, my dear friends and fellows, as far our today's talk is concerned, it is about those people having the troubles, the difficulties in their life. They need to take a very specific, very specifically designed, route, so that they could reach their destination, so that they could start climbing upward. So, my dear friends and fellows, as far our today's talk is concerned, our today's talk is dedicated to these people. And during this talk, we are going to present certain strategies, certain very important tips, certain type of mindset, certain types of attitudes and behavior which can convert their adversity into an opportunity, and which can help them a lot in leading a very good life, in leading a very productive life. So, my dear friends and fellows, first of all, there are two basic things to understand before moving forward, and those two things are that on the one hand, they need to accept and adopt, they need to accept and they need to adopt as well. What is needed to be accepted and adopted? It is recognizing that adversities are a part of life. First of all, they need to understand that the adversities are a part of life. And the second thing which they need to understand, that is adopt to challenges, adopting to challenges. That is the second most important thing to understand. How can it be done? It could be done by, be flexible and adjust to new circumstances. Being flexible on the one hand and adjusting to the new circumstances on the other hand. So that is the second thing. Now let's begin our topic of today, and that says, first of all, we need to focus on what we can control and we need to shift our focus from what we can't control to what we can control. It actually means that there are plenty of things which are out of our control. Maybe some 97 or 8% of these things does not lie in our control at all. So instead of keep complaining, keep criticizing, keep moaning and groaning, keep crying that why it is out of my control, why it is happening, why did this thing happen, why didn't that thing happen. Stop worrying, stop crying at all. Now shift your focus from from what we can't control to what we can control. There are certain things that lies directly in my own control, and about your life that lies in your own control. So I think we need to focus upon, we need to control, we need to shift our focus from what we can't control to what we can control. So how can it be done? By understanding the three simple points. The first of all, it is prioritizing self care. We need to prioritize the self care. And how can it be done? By taking care of our physical, our emotional, and our mental well-being. By prioritizing, make it as a number one priority. Why to make it as a number one priority? Because the most important asset which I have, it is me myself, and the most important asset which you possess, it is you yourself. If at all we are unable to manage it, if at all we are unable to prioritize its care, what is going to happen? It will get a lot more damage. So what is needed here is that prioritizing the self care, and it is take care of your physical, emotional, and mental well being. Now the second point, that is that second point about focusing on what we can control. The second point is set realistic goals. Setting of realistic goals, focus on achievable objectives, focus on achievable objectives despite adversities, despite limitations. Focusing on focusing on achievable objectives, achievable targets, and achievable goals. Because if at all there are adversities, still there are certain things which I can do, which I can accomplish, which you can accomplish. So we need to focus upon it. Now the third point, it is that practice gratitude. Practicing the gratitude. The people will say, when my life is full of challenges and difficulties, why to practice the gratitude? I don't have anything else for which I need to be grateful. As a matter of fact, it is totally wrong. Why? Because the life we are living, that cannot be bought even with the billions of dollars. Because because we have got a vision, I and you have got the eyes, and these are precious. We have got the tongue to talk and the ears to listen. We have got the hands to work and the legs to walk. So I think these are extremely precious assets. So why not to be grateful? And there are plenty of other things which are not maybe as big. Even we need to be grateful for the smaller thing. We need to shift our focus from what we lack to what we have. Shifting our focus from what we lack to what we have, I think that will make us, it is the second point. And it is the it is the setting realistic goals and achievable goals. And then we were talking about being grateful. So I need to be grateful for all what I am having. There are and being grateful does not mean that I need to become a billionaire or I need to become most educated, most intelligent. Not at all. Even the smaller thing should not be ignored at all, should not be taken for granted. And for that reason, we need to be grateful about every small thing and the big thing which I am having. So these are the three important points which will our which will which will make us focus on what we can control instead of what we are lacking the control on what we cannot control. Now the second part is, that is cultivate resilience, the cultivation of resilience. How can it be done? Again, there are three simple points. The tip number one is develop a growth mindset. And how can I develop the growth mindset? It can be done by view challenges as opportunities for growth. View challenges as opportunities for growth. That is how I and you can develop the growth mindset. Viewing challenges as opportunities for growth. That is the number one point. And the number two point is that is practice mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness. How can it be done? Stay present and stay focused. Stay present and stay focused on the current moment. Instead of keep repenting and regretting about the past, do not stop repenting, stop regretting about the past. Instead of learn whatever we can, learning whatever can be learnt out of all that, then leaving it and not to worry about the future at all, neither to develop in the past, not to worry about the future. Plan about the future, prepare about the future. That is all what can be done. Neither to live in the past nor to live in the future. Rather, we need to practice the mindfulness, stay present and focused on the current moment. The third point about the cultivation of resilience, and that is seeking of sport. And seeking sport mean connecting with the positive and sportive people, connecting with the positive and sportive people around yourself. Try to find the people who are positive on the one hand, sportive on the other hand. So that is how we can cultivate the resilience. Now the next thing is that taking off, take action. Take action. How can I take action? There are three simple points, and by these 3 points, I can take action. You can take action. The number one point is breaking task into smaller steps. Breaking the large task, the bigger task, into the smaller steps, and divide large task into the manageable parts. That is dividing large tasks into manageable tasks, mean dividing every large part into the 4, 5, 6, 7 parts, and take one part at a time. Focus, concentrate upon it, get it done, then move to the next one, then move to the third one. And that is divide large task into the manageable parts. The second is celebrate small wins. And people say that there is no point to celebrate. I haven't achieved anything worthwhile. Why to celebrate? That is totally and absolutely wrong. I think the bigger achievements does happen rarely, but as for the smaller achievements are concerned, it keeps happening. So we need to celebrate, we need to appreciate ourselves, we need to be happy on the smaller thing which we have succeeded in achieving. If at all it is too small for another person, don't don't look upon those people. No need to tell those people. Rather celebrate, be happy, and appreciate yourself. It is celebrating small wins, acknowledge and celebrate achievements. Now the third and the last point, as for the taking action is concerned, it is about practicing self compassion. How can and why to practice the self compassion? The self compassion mean treating yourself with the kindness, with the understanding, with the patience. Treating yourself with the kindness, with the understanding, with the patience. So that is how I and you can practice the self compassion. If other people are need not treating us in a kind manner, in an understanding manner, in the patience, so it is okay, it's up to them. But at least I can treat myself, you can treat yourself with the kindness, with the understanding, and with the patience. That is called self compassion. So these are the 3 points as for the taking action is concerned. Now lastly, there are certain additional tips which needs to be taken care of. The first one is reframe negative thoughts. Reframing of the negative thoughts. How can it be done? Replace negative self talk with the positive affirmation. Replacing the negative self talk with the positive affirmation. That is how we can do it. The trouble with us is that we are so much of the time, we are very often seen talking negatively to ourselves, thinking negatively, talking negatively to ourselves. We are seen talking to ourselves, which bring the disappointment, the frustration, the hopelessness, and the despair. I think that is being a pessimistic person. Anybody and everybody who is a pessimistic one, they cannot be happy. They cannot lead a good life at all. So it is desperately and direly needed that we need to control our negative self talk, and we need to replace it with the positive affirmation. What is meant by the affirmation? Find the positive words, the positive sentences which encourages us, which motivates us, which build the confidence, which gives us the hope. All of that is called the positive, that is positive affirmation. I think we need to keep finding the positive words, the positive sentences, and then we need to keep repeating it very often, very frequently, so that we could become a more confident person. We could become a hopeful person, and we can find a ray of hope. We can find the silver lining. We can remain confident and happy. Why? Because we are no more a pessimistic person, rather we are quite an optimistic person. So that is, my dear friends and fellows, replacing the negative self-talk with a positive affirmation, and it is called reframing the negative thoughts. Now the second point, second additional tip is that find purpose and find meaning. How can I find purpose and meaning in my life? How can you find a purpose and meaning in your life? And it is like engaging in the activities. Engage in the activities that bring you joy, that bring you fulfillment. Finding the activities, finding the hobbies and the activities that bring you joy, that bring you fulfillment. And in this way, we will become a stronger person. We will become a satisfied person. Now, the third and the last additional tip is that practice forgiveness. Practicing of forgiveness. Why to practice the forgiveness? And we are of the view, like, I will never forgive this man, I will never forgive this person because they made my life a hell. I think it might be true, and forgiving them is not for they themselves, rather it is for we ourselves. Because as long as I'm carrying the burden of grudges, as long as I'm carrying the burden of resentment, it will keep weakening me, it will keep damaging me, and it is creating a mental stress. What is needed is that, on the one hand, not to keep a grudge against those people, but leave them, part ways. Do not stay connected with those people at all. Separate yourself, make yourself independent, and take yourself 100 miles away from those people. But it is not good at all to keep a grudge and resentment against those people, so that by releasing that grudges and the resentment against those people, we can free ourselves, and we can remove a heavier burden from our mind and heart. So that is, so these are the three additional tips. And the first one was reframing of the negative thoughts, and replace negative self talk with the positive affirmations. The second was find purpose and meaning, engage in the activities that bring you joy, that bring you fulfillment. Now the third and the last additional tip was that practice forgiveness, let go of grudges, and let go of the resentment. So these are the very simple tips indeed, but let me assure you that these simple tips are highly precious, and it has the potential and the capability and the power to turn our adversity into the opportunity, and convert a desert into an oasis, and to convert a desert into a lush green field and the meadows. I think that is something which is highly precious for each one of us. Every point we have talked about, I think that should be written with the gold, and that is highly precious. So for all that reason, I think it is a very fruitful discussion and debate indeed. So thank you very much for all that. Love is on us.